Dear Lord, I thank you for our ability to gather here together, and I thank you for all the people who this reaches. Hopefully, they get some good information out of this, and hopefully it draws them a little bit closer to you, or at least gives them some curiosity to look into what you're about. I pray that you help guide us today and every day to do your work, and hopefully we can give out some information today and have some good discussion to maybe help somebody out there who's watching. Please look after everybody and let it be your will. Whatever it is to be done, let it be your will. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Welcome back, guys, to the Skeptics Podcast, the podcast where we question everything but one thing. This is Skeptics Podcast number 22.
22.
We start all the podcasts off, everyone.
Yep.
It will be like this until the day I die. John Boy.
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm going to be brutally honest this time. I feel like last time I might have been a little bit.
Skeptic?
A little bit. I don't know. It's just, it was a little different last time. But this time I'll be brutally honest with the folks out there. Been rough. I've had a rough few days, but I'm doing a little bit better today. End of the day on a little bit higher note. Just grinding it out.
How do you... Remember, I think last podcast we talked about the baseline.
Mm-hmm.
How is it? How do you find in your ways whether you're doing your good or bad? Is there a way that you judge throughout a week, or you just go day by day, or?
It's more of like a day by day thing. Here recently, it's like I could probably tell you week by week how things have been going, but normally it's a day by day, and I just base it off of like at the end of the day when I'm at my house, what, if anything, what's weighing on me, and you know, is it a positive weight or a negative weight? Because there are things that you could be thinking about that could be weighing on you that I think are positives. Like if we've got something in the works, maybe for the podcast, and it's on my brain, and I'm trying to come up with good ideas, I'd say that's a positive. That's something that's on me. I'm thinking about it, but it's in a healthy capacity versus something that, you know, maybe I've got stuff going on at work or in my personal life that's like a negative. You know, maybe I've done something that was wrong, or I was wrong in doing something. And if you're sitting there and that's what's on your mind, you just happened, you're dwelling on it, really.
Right.
You know, and if you're doing more of those kinds of things than thinking about like good stuff, that's a good metric I use, because that's just the type of person I am. A lot of self-reflection too. So.
Well, that's why I always think you'll always make it out of it, because there's enough self-reflection to see things that maybe that you've done wrong or other people's done wrong and how you can handle it. Mm-hmm. And I don't think a lot of people do that enough.
No, and I don't think people are honest. That was like today. I had a very open conversation with a friend, and
cool.
I talked to him, and I just told him at one point, I was like, I don't know what to do. And they're like, well, how do you feel about this? I said, I don't know. I don't know anymore how to feel about it. And he was like, he said, no, you want to. He's like, we're good. He's like, don't worry about it. He said, he said, like anything, this too will come and go.
Right.
Whatever this phase I'm in. And so that was kind of cool. And just, what did he call it? He called it like the wintertime blues is what he called it.
Hey, so it is crazy that you say that, because they say there's a such thing as a seasonal depression. Yeah. And I think it's a lack of sunlight. I really think that. Mm-hmm. I mean, because it's been or under 32 degrees the last 3 days.
Yes, very cold.
So very cold. Not much sun's coming out, let alone you work inside a building. I'm in a car a lot of the time, so I guess I probably do get a little bit more. But take your vitamin D, ladies and gents. I'm saying that right now. Go ahead and do it. I don't care what the FDA says. Yeah. Do it.
Hey, get some vitamin C gummies if you listen.
Yeah, Cammie's got them like cough drops. She's over there popping them things like Oxys.
I've been taking I've been taking 2 a day to try and keep some sickness out of my body. So.
Yeah, so that, vitamin D, health tips with Dylan.
Yep.
So, we cannot forget the big elephant in the room.
Big elephant.
Here. Did I skip anything for the intro? Or did I do everything?
No, you did everything.
Okay. For some reason, I was feeling like I missed something.
No.
Couple things. We had Donald Trump finally get inaugurated.
Finally.
And he's already made big changes. Day one was writing them out the gate, dude. I love it. I love seeing changes. I hope, and we've talked about this before, I hope that this is the year of accountability. All these people that's done all this different stuff that we will get into is now has a chance to where we can actually – you know how I am about this. I can't stand when people like redact their name or they're like, I want to stay anonymous. Well, brother, that sucks because a lot of that you said now is just going because the hero's got to make sacrifices sometime. And it's tough. I'm not saying it's easy.
No.
I don't know any information about Boeing planes going down and them killing their guys just because they have information about it. I don't know anything about that. So, if I did know something about a Boeing plane that was having a problem and they were just trying to cover it up, it'd probably be different if I was about to come out and try to tell them all the information about it. So, my heart goes out to anybody out there that feels some kind of pressure about that. That's why I hope this year I'm ready to see accountability. I saw on Tucker's podcast, I don't think it was actually today, it was with somebody else, but you remember, let's all realize here for a minute that Donald Trump was essentially almost assassinated twice. Mm-hmm. When's the last time you heard about the investigation with the first assassination?
Probably like since...
Like a week after it happened?
No, like a month after it happened.
Okay, what'd you hear? If you can recall any of the information. The reason I'm asking this is... Does anybody even know this guy's middle name?
I'm not sure on that, but
I haven't seen anything on it today. We don't have this guy's. The FBI does. The FBI's got this dude's phones. We don't know who he was in contact with. An actual reasoning why he tried to do this, and obviously the reason was he wanted to kill Donald Trump.
Right.
But what was the reasoning behind that? How do you get to that stage? No manifesto, and I'm not saying everybody writes manifestos.
Right.
But it just seems like we've lost all that information.
Well, I don't know. Some of that stuff, so like there is a ideology out there about the need to know basis is what they call it, right? And if you don't need to know, then they're not going to tell you. And that even goes with the president. Like there's certain things that the president doesn't even know about that's like going on, whether it's in the military or this or that, because it's so like top secret that.
But what if you need the accountability on that? What if this is far out? I actually don't believe this.
Yeah.
But let's say somebody on the opposite side hired this kid to do that.
Yeah.
I want to see the accountability for these people.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand. There's some things the president don't know. There's some things that we'll never know.
Right.
But I don't think this thing is on that line of we should not know that. Because this is the same reason why I texted you and said, hey, we need to go do this drill to where we like surveillance an area, because I would like to think I'm by no means trained for any of this stuff.
Right.
But if I was in one spot and I said, I want this whole area right here, a perimeter, the one building that's literally perfect shot to the podium, there was not a guy there, or there wasn't nobody looking there. You know, it was 15 seconds after he fired his last shot that the sniper took the shot on him with a 300 Win Mag. 15 seconds, brother.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
And I can understand that.
Yeah.
If you weren't looking that way. I mean, if you're looking some other way and all you hear is bullets zipping by you, I mean, and you got ear pro on,
right?
I'm sure it's kind of tough to be able to see, but 15 seconds?
I don't know. It seems slow and fast at the same time. Like if they're not looking that way at all, like let's say they're off over here looking this way, looking through a magnified optic and finding something and then getting dialed in and making a really good shot. And like they have like Mars devices and stuff, which is like a laser rangefinder that's mounted on the gun.
This shot was also at 150 yards.
I know, but imagine
300 Win Mag.
Okay, so imagine what are you dialed in at? What do you think? So like if you're set up, okay, and you're thinking to yourself, I'm in a sniper position. Where do I think another sniper would be? Because that's what I'm here to. I'm a counter sniper.
Yes.
Okay. If let's say you're dialed in for like 250, 300, and you're looking away at like a building that's a lot further out. Well, you're gonna have to calculate that.
Okay, let's perfectly put you in play.
So let's say it takes you 15 seconds to do the math after you've laser range
brother.
Yeah.
You shoot. I've seen you shoot.
Yeah.
You're a good shot. You have a 300 Win Mag, and there's a guy 150 yards away from you. Say you have a 3 to 25 Night Force or whatever the heck that thing is. What are you doing to get on that guy on target? And you're not an experienced guy. What are you doing?
To get on target?
Yeah.
Well, most likely I'm not going to be super like zoomed in. And so I'll just turn. I'll crank up a little bit because that's something I've learned a lot about here recently, but that's besides the point. But I'll dial up to really get a better image to make sure I'm on the right person because there were other guys in the area. And then if there's nothing beyond the threat, then just send one.
Do you think it'll take you 15 seconds?
I don't know. I actually want to test that.
Because
I could test that with a 308.
Exactly.
How fast I could turn and shoot.
Exactly. At 150 yards. 150 yards.
Yeah.
You hear, and maybe I'm completely wrong. If anybody in the comments has ran this or something like that, or you've done something that is any kind of counter-terrorist or any kind of that stuff, put it in the comments because I'm actually curious. It's one thing if you're facing a direction, you just hear bullets zipping by you, and now you're looking for it. I have the gun, and wherever I'm at, I'm now turning and I'm looking with my eyes for something that's different. At this point, you're seeing people run, people scream. I mean, you've clearly identified after 8 shots that somebody's shooting a gun.
Right.
So now you're looking. My first thing when I turn around and I'm looking, it would be look for an area that is an extremely easy shot.
I'm not even thinking that. Just look for the muzzle flash.
Because you turn...
That would literally catch your eye.
If I'm turning around, it's a whole different ballgame. If I'm turning around and I'm looking, and then I pull my gun up to wherever, or I prone down, or whatever the heck I'm doing, and it's cranked up to 25, yeah, it's going to be hard to do that.
Yeah.
But any person that's ever shot a gun in their life knows, turn around, try to see the target. Once you see something that's like it, crank that sucker down, look through it, and then crank up. I just don't feel like it would take 15 seconds.
I don't normally have it pre-magnified.
Right.
Especially if you're running like a 5 to 35.
Even more so.
Because you're already at 5 power, so it's going to be a closer image out the gate.
Even more so. Turn, you see people running. You might even have time to glance down and look at the chaos that's going on, and then you could be like, okay, so if I'm seeing people run from over there or fall, I see Donald Trump right there. Where's the only spot? Oh, there's a guy on the roof. That's kind of weird. Zoom and look down your gun, and now you can just fully crank up. He's there. Boom. I don't even know if there would really be much of a holdover for a 150-yard shot with the 300 Win Mag.
I don't know what the ballistics are on that round, so I don't know what the bullet difference would be depending on.
Because what he did, we're going way into this. I wasn't even planning on going.
I know. I was curious,
but went through his lip, out the back of his head, and then down his spine because he was laying prone.
Right.
So going into what we were actually going to talk about is the things that we want to see done. My number one is I want to see accountability on all ends. I want to see stuff like that come out. The full Epstein list. Donald Trump, if you're on it and you want to be a G about it, release the whole thing. I hope you're not on it. But if you are, it's still a great shout out to the people if you can release the whole thing.
Yeah.
All the people that put the January 6th people in jail, I want accountability for them too. Because I think this has just gone on way too long. I mean, I think people now are finally at the point where they're fed up about this stuff and they want to see it. And I hope he is so not even really angry, but he's just, I've already been in this position once.
Yeah.
And people effed me in some scenarios. I'm not letting this happen again. I'm going balls to the wall. And judging by the things he's already done in place, it seems like he's doing that. So is there anything that you want to see him? Anything specifically that you've seen that maybe, and heck, he might have already worked on it. I'd stayed up to it. So if he did, I'll let you know.
Yeah. I think there was some talk about some different like tax and like more working middle class stuff he wanted to work on. I'd like to see some progress with that because I really feel like that is an area that I've seen some, and I don't know how true these statistics are, but I've seen some statistics and stuff on it where the middle class is like shrinking.
Very much.
It's getting smaller and smaller, and then the poor class is getting bigger and bigger, and then the rich classes too.
It's getting bigger.
But
I saw something
at a little bit of a different rate.
1 in every 15 people you meet's a millionaire in the United States. That's what it said. I think that was, if anybody wants to fact check me, I think that was on Valuetainment's Instagram. I think it was. I think I said 1 in 15 people you meet nowadays is a millionaire.
But I think that would be good, and as well as, and he did say something about this maybe at his initial inauguration speech. I don't know if it was the initial speech or if it was the speech after. But he talked about the multitude of foreigners getting into the country illegally. And I want to like be broad with that. I'm not just talking about like people who are trying to escape Mexico, but I'm talking about all the different types of people. Okay. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of countries out there that there's a lot of people who are trying to get out of their country and get to ours. I understand that. But if we are going to do that, I would like to be widespread. And I think he said that too. He wants it to be widespread. All across all different types of ethnicities and nationalities that are trying to get in, because like some of them are traveling to Mexico and then coming up through the Mexico border. But they're not even Mexican.
No,
or Hispanic, I should say.
We've had a lot of people, I think, from Iran that came through the Mexican border.
And so if that's what we're trying to stop, I'd like to see that happen. And I think if you really pushed hard and made it a priority, like is what I've heard, then you could do it in a year to 2 years.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there.
Because if anybody ever wonders how I figure this will happen, I don't know, but I'm just kind of spitballing here. If I was somebody that made a claim that I was going to fix up that kind of stuff, the easiest thing to do at first would be anybody that has ever had a record that you know where they're at, whether they're in prison, we're keeping them here for whatever reason, or you know they're on the streets or whatever like that, and they have some kind of record behind them, those would be the first people I get out of here.
So I think you have to start with cutting it off first. They have to stop.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Just like a wound, you have to stop the bleeding, and then you can work on treating.
Yeah,
what you got.
He did say he will finish the wall.
So I want to see that progress made, because that's going to be where you're able to like actually start. Because if you stop people from coming in, now you can slowly and incrementally. And don't get me wrong, I live here, and I remember when like the ATF thing was like popping off, where like ATF was showing up at people's houses, and people were getting in gunfights with ATF and crazy stuff. Like,
this is on my list of things.
Don't get me wrong, I don't want the ATF rolling up to my house. I don't want the government pulling up.
Yeah.
To do
take
X,
my
Y, or
junk.
Z. But at the same time, I am a legal U.S. citizen, and so you have that piece of it. But I would start with maybe the criminals first and break it down by that, because I really do hate the thought of like a family that has made it and is thriving. And there's like 4 kids and a dad and a mom, and they're happy and they're living in Arizona, and he's working really hard at a local place. Like, that sounds nice. So, like, maybe let's not start with them and, like, kicking their doors in. Like, start with the ones who are criminals.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That are a lot easier to track down because we already have them or we already know about them.
Yeah.
I think that would be a good place to start.
I've heard a lot of people say that, like, when you talk about this kind of subject, especially about the immigration thing, that people like us, we don't have hearts. Like, you want to see everybody go. You don't have a heart. I mean, you're born here in America. You don't know how valuable it is. No, I do know how valuable it is. I mean, to the fact that every other country wants to come here.
Yeah.
It's like you don't ever hear stories about people fleeing to Russia. I mean, unless they're trying to find a way to get to here.
Yeah.
So what I always ask other people to think about when it comes to this scenario is think about all the people that are trying to do it right.
Mm-hmm.
And now you got all these other people getting in the way. Me and you, we've been waiting 3 years to go in. We know we can get in a year. And then Bobby, our neighbor over here that's a felon, he just snuck in. And now they're giving him a free pass on this, whatever that Harris thing was on that app. So that's the people I feel bad for.
But or even like my cousin, my cousins and my uncle, and like their stepmom, his wife, Siham, got a visa, came here, and then went through the process, took the test and all of that, and studied, and got her citizenship.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Like, that's pretty great. And I did hear, though, something that I thought was questionable. I don't know the facts on it or if it holds any validity, is it talks about revoking like birthright citizenship to a certain degree. I don't think it was as extreme as like taking like mine away. Somebody who's like family has been here generationally, even though technically at some point my family showed up here on a boat.
Well, yeah, at one point everybody's family did.
But I feel like I heard somebody talking about that in the past couple of days. Somebody had said it. I don't know if it was Trump that said it, but somebody had said something about it.
I haven't heard on that one. That would be a tricky subject. I mean, if you were somebody that was foreign and you broke in here and you're in here, then you have a kid that's here.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be suck.
I know, but if you call it technically by birth.
Yeah. No. I see what you're saying.
And so like that's kind of sticky because there's a lot of people who's in that category. What if somebody is here on a visa and they have a kid?
Oh, you're good then.
Like,
if you came in the right way, and then you can have as many kids as you want, because I mean, we as a country, we want bright minds. I mean, and if you're now here and you can get to see the value of here, and you can raise your kids better than you could at other places.
Yeah.
I mean, I would think the percentage would be up that you could essentially have somewhat of a healthier lifestyle with your kids. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I'm all about that, dude. I'm all about people having babies. If you're here and you're here the right way, dude, pop them out as much as you can. I would recommend staying with one woman, but yeah,
I do want to preface that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be like a
don't be trying to pop out as many as you can, like
right,
and then not doing your part. Like, we do need people raising these kids.
Oh, for sure.
So,
because that is one thing that I personally flaw Elon Musk on. Dude's got like 12 kids with like 6 different other chicks, and I'm like, it's at that number, and this is just the way that I perceive it. At that number, it's hard to think that just every one of those relationships failed, or was it just that you just kind of give up?
Right.
You're just like, well, this ain't for me. And it's a little different when you have millions and billions of dollars.
Right.
I mean, all those kids will probably have enough money to grow up for the rest of their life. I mean, it's no problem.
Yeah. But
yeah, I would definitely stick with one person instead of a bunch of different ones. Kind of going into it, another thing I want to see Donald Trump do, and I think Elon Musk is going to have a lot to do with this in the Doge thing, is like the IRS, ATF, all that, cut all that junk in half. Like, let's lower all the people. We don't need IRS agents on their resume to say that they've had military training with weapons. You're not doing any of that from your desk, buddy. You're going to come to my house and try to take my stuff, and that's not going to happen. Sorry. So, let's just cut all that junk in half. I think that's what Elon Musk is going to do, because that's the whole thing with Doge is to make every government federal system better. And a clear example is Twitter. He went in there and cleared out like half of Twitter, and now Twitter's like times X. Times X?
Yeah, I see what you did.
It's like times X from whatever it was not too long ago.
Right.
So I think there's a lot of people in there getting paid to do nothing. And I would love to have my mind changed. If you want to have an IRS guy come on here, or ATF guy, come on. I'd be all about it.
Oh yeah.
Because when I say stuff like this, I'm not saying the individual person's bad.
Right.
If you're a dad trying to work to put food on the table for your family, I understand.
Yeah, we're talking about the organization.
We're talking about the organization. We're talking about the big ones that's making the decisions that's weird. Like, and then guys, let's just get over the thing with the suppressors. That
oh my god.
There is nothing at this point you could ever make or throw a fit about the suppressor deal.
Do you know why your tax stamp is $200?
Because the government's trying to make it harder for you to get a suppressor.
Yeah, but do you know why it's $200?
Just because they want it to be $200.
Even dumber.
Huh.
Because Connor asked me the other day, back whenever the Tommy gun was trying, like the ATF was trying to get those off the streets, to make it harder, because you weren't making nothing like you're making now. You're making 10 cents an hour type of pay when this gun was prevalent. So they thought if we make it cost an extra $200, because I don't remember how much the Tommy gun was. It was like $70 to buy. So then now you have to pay a $200 fee. They're like, nobody can afford that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what?
We can.
The two main criminals at the time, one of them, guess what? He's a crime lord. He can buy as many as he wants.
Right.
He has money coming out of his ears because he does crime.
That's it.
And then the other guy killed a police officer and took his. So guess what? He didn't even buy it. He killed the guy and took it. And they're like, you know what? This is going to stop that.
Yeah. And so at this point, guys,
and now they just slow down the suppressor buying process.
Yeah. So just let's cut the ATF in half. Anybody out there that has an ATF job, when you get fired, you'll be able to find another job. I mean, that's just how it is. But some people need to get fired. That's it. This also needs to be the year of fired. Like, I want to see a lot of people just get.
Well, you know how you talked about holding people accountable?
Yep.
I would like to see that, but in the aspect of competency. If you're going to have somebody who works for the alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, why don't, your firearms specialist really be specialists?
Right.
Like that video that came out about that guy disassembling the Glock, and it took minutes.
Yeah.
What are we talking about right now?
What are we talking about?
I'm not a specialist,
no,
but I could take a Glock apart.
Well, it's just the same. And guys, all this stuff we're talking about is true. This is not stuff that's fake.
Yeah.
They literally had a weapons specialist go in there and disassemble like a Glock 17, the most known pistol in the world.
Yes,
and it took them 15 minutes to get the thing done.
It was terrible.
Yeah, it's wild. We also got the same people go into Academy Sports and getting the steel target round ones off of the table and putting them in their plate carriers. If you're trying to be serious, at least get the right stuff. Don't walk around, because you know what's going to happen when you get hit with that, especially with like M855. The shrapnel is going to go back up in your face. It's just going to.
You're most likely to have it go in your neck.
Yeah,
which is lethal most of the time.
When that one chick was holding that one in the picture, I was just sitting here thinking,
has the capability to be lethal.
There's some stuff that it's like, we talk about all the time, like living in a movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you hear some stuff that's so ridiculous you think it could be in the movie. Like a reason why originally they didn't have a sniper up there on the Crooks spot is because it was a sloped roof. you say, how do you have enough anything to be able to say that on live TV? That blows my mind. If I was there and I was trying to lie to the masses about something, and you come up and you tell me that, I'd be like, I'm not saying this. Like, this is beyond stupid. Like, fine, let's find something else that you could say in there, but they can't even do that.
You know what? That literally reminds me of a scene that we make fun of. It was a horror movie, maybe one of the Jason movies, or maybe one of the Michael Myers movies. I like the Michael Myers ones. But if you're wondering. But the people are running away, right? The bad guys after him, Jason or Michael, I can't remember which one. And the person runs up to the door and was like, oh no, I can't get it open. And they're like, why? And he's like, because it's made of metal. And then one guy in the movie literally goes, what's that even mean?
Oh my God.
Dude, that's literally the movie lines. Me and my brother and my dad literally crying, laughing because they just contradicted their self. They're like, it's made of metal. What's that mean? we don't know.
If guys, we want to take you serious. We want to have faith in you that you do something right.
And I want you looking out for me.
For sure.
Like if you're an association that's out there or a government organization and you're busting criminals who have, like, I seen a video of some cartel members who had a 50 cal and like a 240 machine gun. Literally like a belt-fed machine gun, and they're rolling around New Mexico in a Ford F-150, dude. Dude, those are the people I want getting busted.
Yeah, Trump just labeled the Mexican cartel as terrorists now.
That's actually not too bad of a thing, I don't think. And check this out. I seen a picture the other day, and it was a dude who looked like an operator, right? Mm-hmm. Ballistic helmet, the Oakley goggles, ski mask. Couldn't see a drop of skin on this guy. He had gloves, tactical shirt, plate carrier, 6 mags, bangers, the works. I mean, this guy was decked out.
Yeah.
You would think he works for a foreign government.
Yeah.
No.
He's a cartel guy.
He's a cartel operator.
Oh, yeah, dude.
What the heck is that?
Dude, this Call of Duty Black Ops 6, you're fighting on Nuketown. I mean.
Now, I will say, just real quick, combating that, there's a private contracting group for military type stuff.
Yeah.
And I seen that they posted recently because somebody asked. There's a lot of people DMing these guys and was like, hey, what do you think I should try and progress towards if I want to see action? And this was like a year and a half ago. I guess they had heard that this stuff's coming down the pipe, that Trump's going to be after these people. And they said, sign up for the drug busting stuff that like SOG is doing, the Special Operations Group.
Yeah.
They were like, those guys are about to be putting in work. And I want you to think for a second, if you have a group of like literally Special Operations Group guys, there's no way these cartel dudes are going to stand a chance.
Not at all.
Especially like if they have all the assets we use like overseas. We're talking about like planes and drones and stuff. Dude, you're cooked, man.
Dude, I'm all about it.
Oh, I am too.
We were talking about the immigration thing. Mm-hmm. And we said this before, and I wish somebody ought to do this. Some billionaire out there, because we're not there yet, ought to be able to do this. Or you know what? Trump could probably do it and make another country pay for it. And you know what I'm about to say? All these people in the past that says that America's bad and they don't want to be here, let's let them go somewhere else. Make somebody else pay for it. If Jennifer Lopez doesn't want to be in the United States and she's like, I want to go to Argentina, Trump ought to be able to make something happen to where Argentina will pay for that flight. Now we're talking about, I mean, these people already have millions of dollars.
Right.
That's why they're still here, because they know America's the greatest country in the world. So
they just want to hate.
Well,
I think even better than that, I don't think trying to make them pay. I'll do a fair swap. Fair trade. Go find somebody hella poor and be like, hey, give them a green card and be like, here's the process that you're going to go through. Do you want to go to America? They're going to be like, yeah, okay. And they're going to ship them over here, and we're going to ship these people down there, okay?
Hey.
And then we're going to give that person a chance.
Hey.
That would be a good I call it the Fair Start program. All right, we're get rid of all these people.
I'm all about it. We're sending these out, and we're getting these people in.
Yeah.
Because it was the, what was it? because there's already essentially a program that's like this, except we don't send people out. So Elon Musk threw a big fit about it, and I don't really know all the details, but essentially there's some kind of program where it's like if you have great minds that's in other countries and everything, they kind of get like a little bump to access to get over here because we want great minds over here.
Yeah.
Let's just do, when we get great minds, let's just give the dumb ones back, like wherever they want to go. Just start shipping them all over the place, because shout out to that one guy that responded on my video a long time ago for 4th of July. We were talking about it a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Dude, give me your Cash App and I will get you out of the United States. Like, if you want out so bad, I will get you out of here. But is there anything else that you want to see him have done?
I think me and you've covered the bulk of it. I'm a little bit skeptical on the whole Elon Musk sitch and like all the stuff he's supposed to be working on and what he's going to do. It is a little bit interesting to have a guy who's a billionaire also be in the government. Some of the stuff I've seen him talk about recently, I think is going to help him. Now, don't get me wrong, people are going to hate you no matter what you do. But I've heard people who are throwing shade at the guy because it's like he's finding ways that, yeah, they're going to make improvements, but they're also going to make him like even more richer.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, if you have the capability, but I think that's a little bit, I don't know.
Is there a point to even stop it at this point?
That's got some wishy-washiness. Stop what?
His wealth from growing. Is there even a way? As crazy as that sounds, we're talking about, is there a way to not make more money?
For him?
For him.
Well, I just mean, like, imagine instead of talking about, like, your standard ways of making income like he does, now imagine that, I've helped get something enacted that's, like, going to quadruple my SpaceX dollars. Like, is that kind of seems illegal. That's kind of like, it reminds me of like insider trading. Like, I know this stock is going to go up by 200%. I'm going to put all my money in it.
Yeah, it's Nancy Pelosi 101. Yeah, that's literally what it is.
But that's kind of
no. I'm with you 1,000% on this part.
I don't know how I feel about that in particular.
There is kind of going right into the next thing, and you good transition into it is last couple days, TikTok was banned for I think it was only a couple hours. I think it was something like that. You don't even get on TikTok, do you?
Nope.
That's probably why you live a lot healthier life. So anyway, it ended up getting banned, and there's word going around now that Elon Musk will probably buy TikTok, and I almost kind of have that expectation as well, because even though Elon's on a whole other range, everybody has competitors, and Elon Musk's biggest competitor when it comes to that kind of space is Mark Zuckerberg. And Mark Zuckerberg has two assets under his name: Meta, the whole thing, but Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
When you think of Twitter, do you think of Twitter more like a Facebook or more like an Instagram?
More like a Facebook.
Okay. When you think of TikTok, do you think it's more like an Instagram, or you think it's more like a Facebook? Instagram.
Yeah.
So that's what I would figure Elon Musk doing, just because now he has two to combat Mark's two. The only thing I do want to say on that is I wish it wasn't that way, because when you have two guys that starts owning everything, it just becomes a monopoly.
Yeah.
And that ends up sucking, or it could end up sucking down the line, especially because, well, we kind of already saw it a little bit with Facebook. I mean, Mark has now came out, shout out to that guy. It was awesome for coming out on Joe Rogan and saying that people were pulling on your strings. And he said, hey, we did stuff that liberals and Democrats wanted us to do because we did not believe in Donald Trump at this point. Now things have changed. I'm getting things changed. I call that improvement. Still might be a little snake in the grass.
I'm curious to see how that changes after the next 4 years.
Yeah,
because I feel like he could be a guy who just changes teams and rides the wave.
I agree 1,000%. So that's why I honestly wish Mark started Facebook. I understand, brother. You keep that thing. I got you. Elon's already so invested in Twitter. That's fine. I don't really see a problem with it. Instagram, I think, should be bought by somebody else. I don't know who it would be bought by. There's nobody that, and Mark's not even really in the political game. Elon Musk is definitely in it way more than Mark.
Yeah.
But Mark's still a big enough name. So I don't know who I would like to see like run something like that, an Instagram, and I don't think Elon should buy TikTok. I think that's what's going to happen.
You want my opinion on the whole TikTok?
Of course. Oh yeah,
brother. So I don't think he should buy it. I think we should let China keep it. And here's my reasoning on that. And don't get me wrong, the people are going to come out of the woodworks on me on this one. And they're going to be like,
all the OnlyFans models.
Well, no, even cats like, shout out to our boy Carson. He talked about, like, there was legit car videos that he watched that helped him, like, understand, like, oh, this or that on his vehicle.
Right.
Yeah, I understand there's a lot of that. But I also hear a lot of people talk about getting their news through that app.
Oh, yeah. No, I agree.
Listen to me, though.
No, I agree with
it. If that's the only place you're getting your news from and you're not fact-checking anything they say, which is going to be 90% of the people, go ahead. Call me out. I don't care. I'm willing to bet 90% of those people aren't fact-checking that stuff. Jump in the comments and be like, oh, I was checking the facts. Doubt it.
Right.
All right. That could be propaganda, dude.
Oh, yeah.
China owns it. They don't want their own people using it.
Right. That says something
That says
huge.
a big thing. And if Musk buys it, who owns the servers? Where is that information being stored and being relayed? If China owns the servers, then China has the right to do whatever they want with the information.
No, you're right.
If he buys it, those need to get all of the assets have to be moved.
Yes. So Donald Trump has already came out and he talked about it a little bit. Somebody was talking to him about TikTok.
Yeah.
I don't like the thing. I'm more on your boat.
Yeah.
If China's going to have anything to do with it, we shouldn't have anything to do with it. Because China don't even have anything to do with it. Just like you said, that's wild.
Yeah.
So they're definitely just getting it for your information. So Donald Trump came out and he said if there was going to be a deal, it would be a 50-50% deal. I'm no businessman. I don't know how all that stuff works. But I would say, Trump, my advice as a middle-class 28-year-old guy,
Yeah.
if it can't be ours completely because there's no way that you'll be able to protect everything
Nope.
completely, I wouldn't even bother with it.
No, shut it down.
I feel a little bit
Mm-hmm.
for the people that has built something off of there.
Yeah.
But I also say this now. We have some things that's never going away. YouTube will probably never go away.
Oh, dude. It's here now.
Facebook will probably never go away. Twitter will probably never go away. There's a good chance that Instagram would probably never even go away at this point.
At this point.
You can move if people like you that much, and I think a lot of people like if they F with you, they're listening to you and they will go find you somewhere else.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan is the perfect example of that.
Oh my gosh.
He went from YouTube to Spotify and was never on YouTube anymore except for previews, and the Spotify numbers went through the roof.
Do you want to hear something crazy?
Of course.
So when he was talking to Steven Reinella recently on an episode that was released on YouTube, so I don't know, I don't listen to it or watch it on Spotify, so I don't know how all that works. But I was listening to him talk to Steven Reinella, and they were talking about when you have super fans and when you become like so famous that it's like people worldwide know you and listen to you. And when I say know you, they know you. Okay?
Yeah.
I want you to think about something. If you listen to Joe Rogan every day, and no matter who he's talking to, you know how he feels about these topics. The same could be said about us. If we end up doing 1 million episodes of this show and somebody listens to all 1 million episodes, they know how me and you feel about everything we talk about.
For sure.
And they listen, and you get a little insight to our lives somewhat. And so when that happened, and like he noticed how big it was on YouTube, I was trying to remember the exact way I wanted to word it. He thought, if I change over to Spotify, maybe it won't be as big. He was actually trying to like damper his numbers.
Negative.
No. People who want to consume that content, just like you said, are going to get it.
For sure.
If you're producing.
So I listened to but might get a lot of crap for this, but growing up, I listened to a lot of Steven Crowder. And he eventually ended up not really getting kicked off YouTube, but got canned pretty hard a lot of the times. Anyway, he went over to Rumble. I hate Rumble's website, and I hate their app, but I go there to watch him. And Rumble is not probably, I would still probably not say no what close to, you know what Rumble is?
No. I've never even been on it.
So it's YouTube, essentially.
Yeah.
But they say it's like more free speech, essentially. So anyway, he went over there, and I believe when he left YouTube, I say left, guys, he still posts videos on YouTube. A lot of it's censored though, because they will get kicked off YouTube. So he cuts off part of it in the thing.
Yeah.
He has 5.2 million subscribers, or it's 4.6, somewhere around that number.
Yeah.
And his Rumble has 1.2, 1.5 or something like that. Trump's day of his inauguration day, I watched it from all kind of different podcasts. They had it live.
Yeah.
PBD was putting up like, I don't know, 40,000 or something like that. I think it was PBD now that I think about it.
Yeah.
A couple other big names that's in the game. I went over to Steven Crowder's video on YouTube. Had like, I don't know, 10,000 followers or 10,000 live people watching. I went over to his Rumble. Mind you, a quarter of his subscribers went over to Rumble.
Yeah.
120,000 people were watching it live. If people F with you, they will follow you.
Oh, yeah.
So, might try to move over to all those things. So, that begs the question. I'm anxious to get your opinion. I probably already know your opinion, but I think it's just healthy us talking about it.
Yeah.
Is if TikTok did leave, would it be a net positive or would it be a net negative to the United States?
To the United States, a positive.
You really think that?
I really think that, and I think it for a few different reasons. Number one, I think that, how do I put this? I don't know. Provocative material, stuff like OnlyFans and things like that, are so easily promoted through those types of applications, as well as all of them, actually.
So that was going to be my next question, but continue.
But I think that has such a major role and effect on young people right now. And I know that those kinds of videos and shorts and content is out there and it's being pushed. And all it takes for you don't even have to like it, for you to watch one whole video, and then it's going to like really start to pressure you with that stuff.
Yeah, the algorithm is on it.
Yeah. And so that's a piece. And then the other piece is, yes, we live in America. Yes, I like free speech. And I had a discussion with the guy recently about this, because it was like, well, what's the difference between hate speech and free speech? Because like in Canada, there's certain things that they consider hate speech.
Oh, yeah.
That they'll try and like get you on.
Oh, yeah.
And so there's a fine line there. And so it's like, well, we live in America, so technically we can allow people to watch this stuff. But what if it's negative narratives being pushed by a power who has the funds to push it towards a particular demographic, like let's say somebody who ends up wanting to try and shoot the president?
Right. No, I agree with you. Because that was a question a guy asked me, and me and him really sat and thought on it for a long time. Would it be a net positive or a net negative if TikTok left? And because the next question right after that was, why not make Instagram leave then? And because the comeback to that is, well, it's been here for so long, is not really a good comeback. I mean, if it's slowly breaking down the world, which do you do? And then it makes it even harder to say. Let's say that. Well, actually, it wouldn't make it harder. You would just have to. Would it be cutting off free speech if you could ban like anything provocative? Is that cutting off free speech, you think? That's the hard part. I actually don't know.
So here's the thing. This is how I like to see it, and I know we live in the modern era. But imagine you did ban that stuff. If somebody had something they wanted to say bad enough that they're willing to go down to the local, like neighborhood or city, that's the word I was trying to find, goodness, go to their local city and stand on a street corner somewhere and hold a sign and talk to people who are passing by and driving by and hollering or get a megaphone. If they're willing to do that to get their message out, all right then. You are willing enough to put your own time in because now you don't have to.
You don't have to.
I just make a video and post it. Make a video and post it. I can make 1,000 videos in a day, post them. But now it's so easy to do that type of stuff. And guess what? How hard is it going to be to push provocative material on the side of the street?
Oh, well it's illegal. I mean, you can't, whether you like it or not, and I knew at one time somebody that did an OnlyFans account, is you're an online prostitute. That is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody is paying to see you do stuff that you and one other person should probably do.
Right.
So, yeah, that's what it is. And it's like the only place in the United States is legal for some reason, I think, is Las Vegas, ain't it? Can't you be a prostitute in Las Vegas?
Maybe.
Or it just might be so corrupted you can just do it anyways.
Yeah, that's kind of like Memphis.
So
they out there in Memphis.
I don't.
Wondering.
I see. My biggest thing is I'm with you. All about free speech.
Yeah,
I'm all about people wanting to do whatever.
Yeah.
If you're, it's just like that one comedian said. If you want to free the nips, I ain't stopping. Just kidding. But how in the world is it illegal to be a prostitute, but you can do it online? To where you imagine, well, this is a funny scenario now. Let's think about it. I said you imagine being a chick and like you're doing that on the side of the road, and it's like you get, I don't know, 2-3 customers a day. That might be low, that might be high. I don't know. It depends on how good looking you are, I guess. But now you imagine doing that online and you have millions of people looking at you.
And think about this.
And they're all paying $10 a month.
You willing to do that in your own town?
That blows my mind now, but apparently there's people that is. Apparently there's moms and dads out there that support their daughter's OnlyFans account. Blows my mind. Did you hear about that chick lately?
The world record?
With the world record?
Yeah.
Her mom and her dad supported her doing that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like all for money. Like
right.
There's no way. I mean, there might be a little bit of attention in there. You might have not got a lot of attention when you grew up, which I hate that for you. But you're gonna go through that and have that name forever for money? I mean, it's like the other thing. I do agree with you on all social media accounts, and I hate it for this because I enjoyed talking on YouTube. I love YouTube.
Oh yeah.
But hey, why don't we even just do this? Why don't we just enforce the same rules on YouTube on everything else? I don't see tits on YouTube all the time.
No.
So why is that not just a standard? Because what is the net negative to that? Besides, some people don't make money.
I don't know. I mean,
I don't think there is one. This is why it's like, why has this conversation not been had before?
Well, I feel like some people are going to come at you from this angle. Not me, but some people.
I'm ready for them to come at from all angles.
Are going to come at you with the whole, well, it's their body. They can do what they want with it. They have a right to express their self the way that they want to express their self.
That's fine. You're just not doing it in front of kids. And there's no way you can stop a kid from getting on this. There's no way.
No shot.
The only way that you can do it is try to be a responsible mom and dad. But you go to school, little Jimmy over here is on some website he probably should not be on. You know what? Because it's free. It's like, how are... This raises so many questions to me because if you're a guy...
Yeah.
You like women.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just how it is. 99% of guys like women. And we like to see women.
So
that's how it is. So why are we making it so easy to do that now? How in the world are we having people become millionaires off of OnlyFans when it's free? You know how? Because you said it. people become so obsessed with one person. They become a fan of them. Yeah. You imagine going up to a chick on the side of the road and you're like, I saw you getting blown out on OnlyFans, and I'm a massive fan. If somebody said that to me, I would be like, you're a loser. Like, what are we doing right now? Are you coming up and saying that to me?
That's crazy. That would be like, that's the equivalent of bumping into like Patrick Mahomes and be like, dude, you won the freaking Super Bowl.
Exactly. Exactly.
You run up, you give him a high five. You're like, you're my favorite.
Exactly.
What are we talking about?
And then, but you're walking up to some chick that's body count's 900.
How are they not afraid of being like kidnapped? Let's say there's 1 million people who are so captivated that they're going to pay their own money, and a lot of it, for this kind of content. How is it that these people aren't like getting like nabbed? Like, I would like to hear about that. Like, is there a statistic about how many people are getting nabbed from this stuff?
That's a good question. I don't know. I've never. I
would like to see
I know that the percentage, like if you really dial it down, that the percentage of ones that really get successful off OnlyFans is very, very small.
Yeah.
Which is it's sad either way.
Yeah.
I mean, you imagine putting all your naked pictures out there and still nobody wants to look at you. What does that do? Everybody talks about, like, what does it do for somebody when everybody is looking at them do stuff that they shouldn't do? What is that doing for all the ones that they're not?
Yeah.
Like, at least these other girls can, like, this, Cammie was showing me this one girl named Sophie Rain or something like that, I think's her name. Mm-hmm. She makes $4 million a month off of OnlyFans, and she says she's a virgin.
That's crazy.
That's what she says. Apparently her stuff is not in and out. It's just pictures of her.
Yeah.
And she makes $4 million a month. At least that girl can sit back and say, I must be good looking. You're definitely looked at as an object. Yeah. Can't lie about that. Because you put yourself out like that.
Is that not a negative quality though?
And then you imagine, John, looking at yourself and be like, nobody still wants to see me. You talk about going in a deep hole quick.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a moment that when I was younger, one of the reasons why I started working out is I wanted to look better because I didn't think that I looked good. I mean, you imagine now I'm trying everything to get eyeballs and it doesn't work.
Well, here's the thing. This is a realistic statement right here.
Oh, yeah.
100%. Imagine instead of you thinking that that's the right way to go about it, and instead you try and find a guy who's a good person, okay, that cares about you. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you right now, your odds are exponential. Exponential.
Oh, yeah.
If you think that you don't look good, I'm telling you right now, there's a guy out there.
That's for facts.
Who does think you look good and who would treat you right. Don't get me wrong, there's guys that are bad. But there's a guy.
Yeah, and we're not just blaming the girls here, too.
No.
Any guy out there that pays for that junk, dude, you need to get a life. Yeah. I mean, I'm not even being sympathetic about it anymore.
No.
I'm like, you got people out here that can't even pay for gas, and you're out here paying for a chick's nudes. Blows my mind. So this whole thing gets me fired up.
I don't remember who told me it, but they were like, whatever happened to like talking to chicks?
Oh yeah,
to end up in that kind of position. And, I'm not going to even hate on a cat who, like, they talk to a girl and, like, they got something going, but then it doesn't work out, and they talk to a different girl, and they get something going. All right, cool. Not the way I do it, but sure. At least that they're looking at these people as people and not as objects. Don't get me wrong, there's certain guys that look at women as objects, but...
Yeah. Douchebags.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But... being able to build a relationship of some kind with an individual, and there's some self-worth there.
You know what? It also makes me emotional on a certain point when it comes to the OnlyFans people, because I feel like a lot of them would just, you imagine like knowing somebody that's doing all this stuff and everything. Yeah, this gets to me.
Yeah.
And you just going up to them and you just hugging them and saying, hey, and you don't want to lie to them. I mean, you don't have to walk up and say, "Hey, I love you," or something like that. You don't have to do that. But you know how many of these girls, when they get older, they're going to look back and they'll be like, "I wish I had one friend that just came up to me and hugged me and said, you know what, you're enough. You don't have to do all this."
Mm-hmm.
Like we talk about it all the time. It sucks when you have no money. It really does suck.
Yeah.
You're in a whole different kind of low. But that's why we push on here so much. You got to have some kind of support system with your friends.
Yeah.
Because some of these ones I see, and I just wish I could go up there and hug them and say, "Hey, you're enough." And at one time you probably thought, you know what? Nobody may love me. I like all these eyeballs so I can cover it up. But there is one dude that does love you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that's hard to get past. That's a lot to put on a person at one time.
Yeah, for sure.
But just, I mean, if I knew a girl now that was doing OnlyFans that was a friend of mine, I mean, me and Cammie would have to talk about it, and I would be like, you know, there's one person that's struggling right now, and it's this person.
Yeah.
She may not be showing that she's struggling.
No.
But the chances that girl ever finding a boyfriend after this stuff is stupid low.
Yeah.
I mean,
there was some, what do they call them? Adult film stars that I heard about recently. I can't think of who it was, but I seen it on Instagram that was wanting to get all of their like videos off of the internet and wanted people to like quit watching it and quit looking at them in that light because they've become a mom and they're trying to start a family.
I know who you're talking about.
Huh?
I think it's Riley Reid.
That might have been it.
I think so.
You've ruined all chances.
Oh yeah, Pretty Slim.
That stuff. No. You've ruined it. I was always taught growing up, once it's on the World Wide Web, the WWW, okay?
Oh yeah, no, I'm following you now. Yeah,
it's out there.
Oh, it will. Yeah,
somebody has that.
It will never be gone.
I don't care if the words are in Pakistani.
Yeah, you're right.
They've got it.
It's on there.
There's a copy somewhere.
It's on there.
So